The soccer season beginning to heat up as the temperatures begin to fall as we are in the midst of fall autumn, as we are joined in studio by Chris Black, the very busy Chris Black, after calling a pair of soccer games for us earlier tonight, and Danny Fisher from Paysetter joins us as well. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. And Chris, let's start off with one of the games you called tonight, Northview beating Springfield in girls soccer. So that leaves the NLL race wide open in terms of the ladies.
Yeah, it really does, and it took a little bit of time for Northview to get going, but they settled for 4 very long shots. They're phenomenal in the end, and they pulled this game away. So Northview's still in a driver's seat for all over part of the NLL, so it's going to be exciting last few weeks in the Northern Lakes League on the girls' side.
And Danny, obviously, that NLL title, Anthony Wayne, last year's defending champions, made it all the way to the state championship game. They're still very much in contention as they're, despite being a very youthful team, they are right there in the midst of it as well.
They are, yeah, and big game with Anthony Wayne versus Northview as well coming up in the next week or so. But for Northview, some meaningful games coming up. Anthony Wayne, Clay, and the Southview game is a big game for them as well. So, but as you said, Anthony Wayne, very youthful in players, but in experience. What they went through last year, the likes of Bryn Gardner and Elena Unkerford, they're experienced at this stage of the season. They know what it takes to get to the state final.
And in the Three Rivers Athletic Conference on the girls' side, it's a little bit of a different story, thanks in part to St. Ursula's win tonight over Clay. The track, the arrows are in control of that race, Chris.
Yeah, and Clay's gotten a lot of great results against St. Ursula over the last few years, but now with this result tonight, 3-0 for Toledo St. Ursula Academy, they're really driving the rest of the way for this conference. Obviously, lingering large, though, at the end of the year is that rivalry game against Toledo Notre Dame, but you could probably sit down and mathematically work this out. It's their league right now, and how they would lose it would be interesting to figure out a way for that to happen, but it's a game at a time. But there's 2 coaches right there and players are circling that last game of the year against each other right before the playoffs start.
And gentlemen, we've already seen this year some notable losing streaks come to an end. We've seen schools beat each other for the first time in school history. Is that all just part of 2020, or is there something else going on this year in soccer that's given us some very curious results?
I think it's a little bit of both maybe, but I think you had the Southview result over NDA on Monday night, which is the first time since 2008. And Southview, I think, have played really well this season. They come into a really tough schedule. The first game was being NDA on Monday night, and they came through that after going 1-0 behind as well. And then on the boys' side, you got the Clay getting the result against St. Francis last night as well, with the 2-0 result as well. So, both programs who are building up a program as well, who will be around for several years to come.
Elsewhere in the Three Rivers Athletic Conference on the boys' side, St. John's, they picked up the win over Lima Senior earlier this week, so the Titans firmly in control in that race. And coming up this weekend, a very good non-conference matchup as St. John's will take on Northview as the Wildcats remain the top-ranked area team in terms of the coaches' poll for Division I. And Chris, what can we expect with Northview and St. John's this weekend?
Well, really, you look at Northview had kind of a trip-up game. Could have been with Springfield, end up getting over that game 4-1. Trevor Tabb having a phenomenal game for Springfield. So they got through that. They didn't look past them to St. John's. St. John's, the Lima Senior, important league game. They dispatched them 10-0. Now they're going to be taking on each other tomorrow. And you've got 2 teams that, yes, they both lost some players last year like everyone else does. But 2 teams have done really well inside of Northwest Ohio area, and it's going to be a fun game to watch. Of course, you probably talk to both coaches, and they're going to sound like Lou Holtz talking about the Navy punter being the most dangerous player in the game. But at the end of the day, they've got to both be happy with their teams, how they're playing. And Coach Greg McElroy for Toledo St. John's and Coach Kirk Brazel from Sylvania Northview know that this is a showcase game for Northwest Ohio tomorrow. And it doesn't mean anything for the league, but certainly is a kind of something that the kids are excited about and want to set the pace and tone going into the tournament, trying to get that #1 seed, because you also have 1 turf field, 1 grass field, I'm hearing, for the postseason. So you want to be that #1 seed so you can decide what type of field you go on.
Yeah, we are just about 2 weeks away from that tournament draw, so the next 14 days are going to be very important in making that resume and making your case to see who gets those top seeds. I want to thank Chris Black and Danny Fisher for joining us tonight on Sidekicks. Don't forget, coming up this weekend, we'll have more Lord's soccer, Lord's men's soccer. We'll have that for you Saturday right here on BCSN.